Now we're going to have a council discussion. And that council discussion items are appointment process, rules of order, and code of conduct. Melissa, do you want to?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Go ahead,
No
sweetie.
problem,
Go ahead. Go.
So with appointment process, I mean, I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are. I've done a lot of research, looked at a lot of different municipalities, locally across the bridge and even in other states. I think one of the first things that we need to look at for the vacancy, if a vacancy does occur, is what is the timeline? So, example, if a person resigns or is not on the council and there's 6 months left, obviously that's probably not worth a special election. But if there's a time anywhere, I would say any time that would be over, whatever time we set, obviously that's amongst council's decision. But whether it be 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months, we need to determine, the first thing I would say is, how long of a time would you give? You know, like, so my appointment process obviously came in the middle of a 2-year period. So should we change that to, if there's 6 months left, 9 months left, then we do an appointment process, which can also be changed. You know, we don't have to do the same way it has been. But I think that's the first thing we need to look at, is that timeline, and figure out what is the amount of time that if someone is not here, that we're willing, if we do the appointment process. I mean, a special election for 6 months to me just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But again, it's up to what everybody else agrees upon. So that would be where I would start.
Also, in looking,
Anybody else have?
I was just going to point out, I think it's interesting that Frederick has a contingency if someone passes away or is unable to be sworn in for any reason. They have a contingency of going to the next highest vote getter. So I think that that's something we might want to consider as well. I mean, the odds of that are very slim, but it would be nice to, if we're going to be looking at.
That says before sworn in.
Right, before sworn in. So like if say that the person wins the election and they say, oh, wait, I can't do this, because I have seen this happen in other seats before. It does not very often, obviously,
Right.
but I mean, if we're going to be doing this, it might be a good idea, in our best interest, to go ahead and patch that hole.
Well, I agree. I
Yeah.
think though first, I mean,
Yeah,
not being
no.
funny, that seems like that might
No,
happen
yeah.
very rarely. Let's
No,
hope.
yeah,
knock
no,
on wood.
it is very rare. I do.
Yeah, so
For
I think
myself, I was looking at the Annapolis, and they say 15 months, which I think that's a bit long. I think that's a bit long. I like the idea of somewhere between that 6 to 12 months.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was kind of
I'm just
falling
not
in
sure
the
if
9 months period.
6 months is too short a period.
That's why I was-
and
yes.
like, because I mean, you're cutting it close there,
Yes.
and then because say it's 7 months out, like that's quick to get
Yes.
you know. So I'm thinking the 12 months might be closer to the 12 months might be a better idea, but I think that's probably the best. Yeah, I hadn't noticed the Frederick thing before, and I just noticed it was down here on this form that Julie was very kind to prepare for us, and you know, I think that that was just a oddity that.
Yeah, I think, where mine
12
was 2 years, I think 12 months is
12
kind of an
months.
even,
Yeah.
if there's more than a year left, then
Then
it should be a special
Needs to be
election.
filled.
right, yeah.
So you define how many, you decide first how much time is left.
Yes.
Right.
And then can clarify the election in terms of the cost of the election. If in fact, I know that the mayor, we talked about this, where you have an election in that district, obviously, and you keep it simple. You show up, you vote, and then you fill that position for that particular district.
You have dual control over the votes, and then
Find a building to have.
no absentee, just
Straight.
in
Yeah,
presence.
just straight election, just vote.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure we could probably work something out with the places that we have used in the past for just regular general elections.
We'll probably use Inspire.
Well, it depends on each district. It probably need to be located.
in the
Yeah,
district.
yeah, for
Yeah,
different
but like,
districts.
yeah.
Yep. And find it,
Well, we'll
keep it
have,
simple.
you
and-
can find a place, because if you even ask, some of the churches will let you use
Well, yeah, the
their
one
community
Forest
centers and stuff,
right
yeah.
across.
I'm quite sure a lot of churches
Just
would
to
do
keep it simple, find a location that's accessible to everybody.
Right.
Now,
You want to
now
make sure.
grant you, they're gonna charge
Yep,
Yes.
keep it
Yeah.
for
cost
using the building,
Yep.
but 12 months before appointment, right?
Yes.
12.
And
If a
then
seat,
2
yes.
years remaining, it's a special election.
Well, anything over that, so if it's only a 12-month period left, right? Then you would do
Appointment.
the appointment. But anything over 12 months would be a special election. So where I'm, like, my 2 years would have been a special election if this was the case then. Does that make sense?
You might want to add 12 months plus 60 days for the actual election.
Yes, I was getting ready to
Yeah.
say, yeah, we would announce the vacancy. I mean, and then we also will start there with the timeline, because then we also would need to determine our appointment process. But I would say if there was a
Yes.
vacant, you know what I mean? Like, we need to also look at that. But I would say, of course, yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
But still, where there's that year gap in between, I think a 12 months is a good amount of time. If it's over that, then we definitely, I think, should look at a special election
But
as
we need
opposed
to
to
change
appointment.
our appointment process.
Yes.
That needs to be worked. That's the main thing. It needs to be tweaked. It has to be. We just can't keep it the same as it has been. We cannot. I mean, I just don't see it being the same. And I think that during that process, if we're gonna do it, I think the executive branch should be in that, included in it.
Well, some of the recommendations I even looked at were, depending on if it was a tie, the mayor
Yeah.
would break that tie. I also think that even if you leave the appointment process in place, I also think there needs to be some sort of mechanism for the public to know who people are. So I don't know how feasible this is, but maybe just they come and give a speech. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not running for
In front
an
of the public.
election. Right.
In front
Just
of
so
the
the
public.
public knows who they are and what
Yeah.
their background is my thought. So they come and give some sort of speech. I mean, it's obviously not going to tell you exactly who they are, right? But it also gives the public the opportunity to hear from them instead of a closed session.
Yeah.
I'm sure HR can work out something that would be okay for that. I know that they had said before.
Yeah, and I know it's not like a debate or- yeah, I know.
It's not,
But I still feel like, it shouldn't just be a council decision.
Right.
That's where the weigh-in from
And
the
that's why I
public.
s- Yeah, the weigh-in from the public.
Should
and
come
the-
in.
The executive branch and no closed session. I'm sorry. I'm just done with that. I'm done with the closed session part of it. I'm done.
well, that's the thing. I mean, when we do the interviews, that, because of, I think it's, what is it, state law with, they're basically interviewing for a job, we have to abide by that as well. So I think that's where we need to bring HR in and have them part of this discussion, I think, definitely. Because I don't want us to get tripped up by that.
But I don't think it's up to the council to do the interviews alone and to just make that decision.
Yeah, no. I think, I like the idea of folks being able to come in and announce themselves to the public that they are applying, which, I mean, with social media now, a lot of people already do that.
We've got to figure out a way to do these interviews, because
Yeah.
I definitely did not like this last go-round, not
I
at
think
all.
that's, when we have the, I think we need to have HR for that discussion as well then. I think that they need to be here for that.
Say HR? What's it got to do? I mean, in terms of, what would that?
But, because it's an interview
For the
process.
interview
For
process.
For the interview
For the interview
process.
process, because that, there are laws that, and I don't know if we have a loophole that we can go through on that.
Well, and that's what we would need to figure out, because
That's-
let's be honest, like, let's be real. If I were to run for an election, right, I'm gonna put myself out there.
Right.
I'm gonna run, I'm gonna go talk to people. So if we look at it like this, I mean, it's a job, but it's a public servant job.
Yeah, I know. And
So
that's
does
what,
that
I'm like,
technically- yeah, it
it's
doesn't
like-
really
it's like
fall in
really
the same
weird, and I don't want us to
category.
get tripped up, but I also don't, I also want to make sure that we're giving people a chance to speak to the public and announce themselves and things like that. So like I said, I mean, a lot of people will announce themselves on social media and stuff, but that's not,
We don't need
that's
to
not the reach.
We don't even be interviewed as candidates. Oh, we have.
Right, but we
four.
have to figure out a way, though.
In the process,
Yeah.
We
We have to find
that's why
a way
I said it
to-
would be really, I think it would be a really good idea to bring HR into this discussion at some point.
So Wycomico did this when the executive passed away. They held the interviews at the Civic Center, and it was a public forum.
Was it? Oh, okay. So
See, that's so, there we go.
I think that's only fair. I don't think we
Yeah,
get,
okay.
we don't get to
Yep.
choose that. That's not.
Because that's
for
why
us
I
to
just
make
don't
those
want us to
choices
get like,
and decisions. I just.
Yeah,
I definitely could say HR.
I would advise you to
Yeah.
talk with HR about
Yeah.
things you say, do, as you would with any interviews, but.
right. So, but they did conduct them publicly. Okay.
Well,
Correct.
I will tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
the conference that I just attended last week, there was a municipality that was there, and I did ask them what their process was. And they stated that when they started for their interviews, it was an open meeting, and all of the candidates would come in and interview in front of the public. The council would ask the same questions. They would have a sheet like we did before. They would ask all the questions. Once the applicant was done answering the questions, they could sit in the audience and observe the rest of the interviews. Once the interviews were done, they would then do a closed session only to talk about experience and the private things, the personal things of the applicants, since obviously you don't want to throw all that out there, job history and all that kind of stuff. But then they went back into open after the closed session, but that's how they did it.
It's kind of a hybrid.
Yeah, because I don't want any discrepancies like we had before. I just don't want that to happen again.
I think that's
And I
fair.
think that,
Which municipality was that?
You were going to ask me that.
I know.
I think that's a good idea, though. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I like
gives
that-
the
I like that
public,
idea.
it gives that public piece of
Yeah,
it,
it
right?
does. It
But
gives-
still, there are some things you don't want to talk about, and I think
Stuff is worded.
it makes sense.
Now, they did add that they didn't have public comment, but they did allow for the public to be involved, like listening, the transparency of them listening to the interview questions and the responses from all of the applicants. And I know it was in Maryland, but I cannot for the life, I've talked to so many people last week.
I get it. If you
It's
happen
okay.
to think of it, let me know, because I'd be interested to look up and see exactly how
Yeah.
they got it written out
Yeah.
in their policies.
Absolutely. I'll let you know.
Yeah, if you think of it.
Yep.
okay.
That's interesting. I could also talk to the MML. They probably would know.
Yeah, and then I just did a basic timeline. So you get a vacancy, and then within 10 days, public notice is issued. Within 30 days, must appoint or start the process for the special election. And the special election held not fewer than 60 days after it is being called, and of course, work with the Board of Elections was my recommendation. But I would at least put that year timeline on it, that if it's a year or more, you do the special election. If it's less than a year, an appointment process. But the open appointment
Do
process.
we want to determine if there is a tie in some way, shape, or form?
From the research I did and the few municipalities, the mayor broke the tie.
So if we
I don't
have
know how
these,
you all
if we,
feel.
so if we've come up with the basic things we want in this, so now we can move forward and have this drafted.
Yes, yes.
Let me get this straight again. You said less than a year
Maybe that's why they do the 15.
is an appointment,
Yes,
less than a year.
yes. Yeah, all my research was anywhere between 6 and 12 months, but I think we all agreed here that 12 was the
Yeah.
number.
And it's a special from a 12 to 2 year.
So more than 12
Or
months.
12 or even
Yeah,
more,
more, yeah,
depending
yeah,
on,
yeah.
right.
Okay.
And then you have a timeline specified.
Yes.
And then in the case of a tie, the mayor determines. So those
Then the
are
mayor
I'll
would,
talk to,
those are the things we want on
I'll
it.
talk to Meg tomorrow in reference to having an open public meeting with this instead of having a closed session. I just don't, I can't.
no, I think that's a good idea. Have that in open. I'll do the interview in open, just go into closed, just like kind of what Julie said, just for the
Yeah,
things that you don't want to
Curiosity
openly.
for the public, the public
Right.
gets to be a part of it.
But then they'll be there and have heard the same interview.
Yeah.
It was the town of North Beach.
Oh, thank you.
Closed if needed.
Yes.
Okay.
So am I being charged with trying to put that into writing and submit it to council for the next?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to chime in and say something. It sounds really good, the path we're on. I just want us to be mindful that the process either be an appointment or it be a special election, is exclusively a legislative branch function. And to keep the balance, the executive branch should not be a part of it. The executive branch has their functionality and should keep their functionality for checks and balances. The way we have ours right now, we have a strong leadership mayor role. And the council, our role is different than their role. And I just think we just want to be mindful as not to, or not, I think we should just keep them separate and keep it to the point where there's checks and balances. The council piece is exclusively written in our charter for the checks and balances, and that the legislative branch does that.
That can be.
Yeah, I
rewritten.
completely get that, but what do you do in the event of a tie
Yeah,
I mean,
and if we're
How do
gonna
you-
have the public here,
resolution?
what's wrong with the executive branch being here? And in case of a tie, the mayor is the one who
I'm just sharing.
breaks the tie.
But I do get what
I'm
you're
just
saying.
saying.
There's a reason for the division of
Yeah,
government.
All I'm doing is
It
sharing
is a
my,
division, but I mean, when
Point
it
of view.
comes to this,
it's just my.
we're all in this together, so why can't we do this as together?
It's just my point of view.
Are there any recommendations for a different alternative
I
if there's
don't-
a tie?
Well, I think this is where that ranked choice type of thing comes in handy, where you can rank and.
Well, but I don't know. I don't think we really want to go up into that at the moment.
Just amongst the council members, just amongst the council members, because you can list who your top, the order in which you would like to select, and then they get designated.
Yeah, but
I think that,
yeah, I
that
don't.
would be a way of, we've done that before. I think we did that.
Well, yeah, in every appointment, this would be the top candidate, this would be the second, this is our third option, so on and
Just
so
like what
forth.
we did when we were interviewing for the position.
Yeah.
Did it in the still didn't work.
I think that was a great way to come to an agreement on who we would pick, so, and recommend. So I think that's something worth looking at as far as,
Yeah.
finding a way to break a tie without having to involve the executive branch, because I do agree with,
gonna break it?
I do agree with Councilwoman.
Who's gonna break it?
I mean,
We can't
this is
break
for
it. If
discussion.
we got two here and
It's
two
just-
here, wait a minute, hold it.
This is for discussion.
I'm speaking. Thank you. If we have two over here and two over here, how are we breaking the tie?
Well, if.
We went through the same thing the last reappointment. We went through the same thing.
Well, if I may.
The same thing, and I don't want this anymore. If we're going to be transparent, we need to be transparent all the way. All I have to say, we need to be transparent all the way. No cover-ups, no anything. It's no problem. I don't see a problem with the mayor being in here breaking the tie. He's only in here in case there is a tie. He's not in here to give an opinion or anything else. He's here to break a tie if it is necessary.
yeah, I'm not saying this out of personal advocacy, but I mean, I think one of the things that we misunderstand about this whole thing is that you guys are 100% of the legislator. I'm 100% of the administration, but I also have a legislative role. I can veto things. I can offer up things for legislation. So I'm not out of the legislative process. I'm just not the primary one. And in that sense, I can, like I say, I can veto things. I can propose legislation. So I think
And we can
for whatever.
override vetoes. I mean, there's.
What's that?
I said we can override.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that this is something, I
balance.
think this is something that needs to stay within the legislative process, and I think looking at I'm trying to remember how exactly it was structured last time, but it was very much kind of like that whole ranked choice idea where it was, we would list our favorites, and then we'd go down and we'd figure out, you know, who was, if we had a common denominator at number one, yes. If we had if we could, you know, come to an agreement with the second person on the list, if, say, you know, two of us had the first person, and one of us had that first person listed at number 2, that meant that person was probably.
That didn't even work.
Michelle, but I want to
That
say
didn't
this,
work.
from the moment I sat down here, that didn't work.
Yes, it did.
Okay, like, I'm not saying people don't, you know, I'm trying really hard, and I'm doing the work of the
Right.
people, but that didn't work, that process didn't work when I came, right?
Right.
I heard it from the first moment, so do we really want to do the same process and put somebody else in that seat in a contentious way when that process didn't work? So I see what you're saying,
think
but we all heard the comments, and that didn't work when I sat down because we heard it. So that's obviously not a solution because it didn't work last time. While I'm here, and I'm glad to be here, it didn't work in the public eye. So I'm not sure that's the solution this
That's just
time.
it. I don't think we really, the council as a process did that during our selection process. I mean, I don't think we really stuck to that method. And so, you know, I would like to see us be a little bit more flexible amongst ourselves in our decision-making, and be able to not be so immediately entrenched in who we would like. I think that this is something that we need to this is, you know, I'm not sure that this is something that we're gonna get done in a single discussion. I do have an issue with bringing in the mayor as the decision maker to be able to split that, to make that choice. Because unfortunately, that puts a thumb on the scale in the checks part of the checks and balances. He can select whoever he thinks is going to be most favorable to him, as opposed to someone who is going to represent that district.
Well, but that could have been the case.
Yeah.
I mean, council members could have a personal agenda.
Thank you.
And could appoint a person
And
thinking
did.
they were a puppet.
I find that
Or that they
shocking.
were going to
This is
do
just a
what
discussion.
followed the
This
guidelines
is
when
a
that person
discussion.
doesn't. So I'm not sure, you know,
I think that the difference is that the legislators are the legislators, and the mayor is the executive, and I don't like the
I just think that this should go a little deeper than what it's gone. We're not gonna get this done
Oh, no.
tonight at all. But I, like I said, I think that we should be more open to the public. The public should see what we're doing. And if there is a tie, in case there is a tie, now I'm just saying this, that the mayor should be, what, we gonna pull somebody out the audience to be a tiebreaker? No.
I mean, it could be a straw poll. I mean, it could be.
No,
if you
no,
got- if
I'm
you
not
got a
going
tie,
through
you
all
pull
that.
a name out of a hat. I mean, there are.
But then you're still not pulling the best person, because you're pulling the straw out of a hat.
Right. If
So
that
we're
per-
defeating the
if there are an equal amount of votes for each person, then both people are equally valued by.
I'll
members
tell you
of the
what,
council.
let's do this like this. This will go for further discussion.
yeah, why don't we get, though, Ashley, do you
Do
mind
you want me to-
starting a draft?
To start a draft for
Of at least
discussion,
what
I
we
think
talked
that would
about.
be
Yes, thank you,
more,
Ashley.
yeah,
Move something
effective.
along.
Yes.
What did I do?
Thank you.
I agree.
Start with the main,
Start drafting.
Yeah, start with the main premise about the timeline. and
start with the main
yeah.
things we
Yes.
can all agree on.
Yeah.
And then,
And I'll do more research and see if-
Yes.
yes, and find
Agreed.
other alternatives.
Good job.
Okay, and then we have is the code of conduct. Yeah,
We have rules of order.
okay. Yeah, it is rules of order. Go ahead, your baby.
So, Ashley, and this is probably something, but I went, so I'm going to specifically, I'm looking at the section of it's I, and I have worked on this for so long that I have thrown my papers in all kinds of order now. It's any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, or who becomes boisterous in any manner that disrupts the meeting while addressing the council may be warned by the president, and if necessary, requested to leave the meeting. I actually, after my research, Lord knows, page 8 of 9, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
That's my notes,
Section
it's
12.
all over the place.
You said I, and I'm like, I can't believe
Yep,
it's
no,
I
I.
everywhere.
And so in there, the word, look, personal, impertinent, or slanderous, they're very questionable words, in my opinion. I feel like it should be more of any individual addressing the council shall confine remarks to the allotted time and maintain order during the meeting. The council president may issue a warning to any person whose conduct materially disrupts, disturbs, or impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. A warning will be given. If the behavior continues, they will be asked to stop the behavior and/or leave. Removal from a meeting shall be based solely on disruptive conduct and not on the viewpoint, criticism, or content of the speaker's remarks. Limit them to the 3 minutes. I have thick skin, always have. It's their time. They get 3 minutes.
That's right.
Let them say whatever, as long as it's not threatening.
No profanity.
Or you're not up there cussing, calling us names. They have a right, in my opinion, to say what they want. And so I think that right there, needs to be, and Ashley, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do your job, I'm up here, but I did do some language that I think that should be changed to.
Well, I think from what you've just said, Melissa, the language is not as vague. So you've spelled it out, and I think that will be helpful.
And that also addresses anything, comments from the audience during a council meeting as we're trying to conduct business.
Right.
When there are outbursts or things like that.
Well, and I also, Michelle, went and defined what disruptive conduct would be. So it would be including but not limited to speaking beyond their allotted time, after being instructed to stop, shouting or interrupting other speakers, or engaging in threatening behavior or preventing the council from conducting its business. I think the big part of that is just not interrupting with the council. When people are speaking, don't scream, obviously. But I think we do need to actually clarify disruptive
I think
conduct.
that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that would make a difference
Yep.
as well.
With that.
It sounds like there's consensus with that proposed language. Would you like me just to go ahead and replace I with the language that
Yes.
Ms. Holland proposed?
Yes.
Ms. Holland, could you do me a favor and email me that?
Sure can. Sure.
I'd like to add one thing, and we talked about this earlier, but talking about the agenda items, this got changed, I think fairly, we talked about it earlier, but the idea that the mayor or city administrator can make a timely request for the council president to put an agenda item on, and then it says, the council president has discretion whether to add the item to the agenda, and I think that's true, with the exception that I think they have to demonstrate a reason not to put it on. In other words, just can't not put it on because they don't want to put it on. We had a couple instances that,
on our agenda tonight?
when Deshaun was here,
Different issue.
where he just wouldn't put it on the agenda. And I think it's a little bit arbitrary, capricious, if it's not a legitimate reason for not, just because they don't want to have it discussed, is, my take on that. So I don't know what the language is that supports that, but that, the president has, discretion to what to put on the agenda, but if he denies the mayor's want to put something, or the administration's want to put something on the agenda, he has to demonstrate a compelling reason, not just an arbitrary, not be arbitrary.
And again, I still think there are items that we could not work session, as I've said before.
Yeah.
and
Condense
just
the
move
agenda.
forward, Such as the vehicles this evening.
Yeah, that's being worked on.
I guess my other question is, and I've never seen it happen, but in our rules in section 7D, each council member shall be allotted a maximum of 4 minutes to make his or her comments. Is someone monitoring that form? No. So then maybe that doesn't need, you wouldn't want us to talk for 20 about the same topic, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, should we actually have that?
I think by the end of the meeting, we all try.
Well,
Yeah.
basically,
I don't think we need that in there. So if we remove D, that last sentence,
The only thing I will say about that is, as someone who has had to modify future contracts based on past client behavior, I feel like that rule is in there for a reason because it happened in the past, but I don't.
Well, but
I don't
again,
feel- yeah.
most of us are elected or appointed, and unless we're really over the top and
Yeah.
somebody needs to say, okay, you
Right.
said the same thing 4 times, I don't think we
don't think it's
need that in there, no. And then I did have a question, Council President. I'm not sure. We have in here, and here we go again, Section 12 for public, and it's Section G, the end of work sessions, public comments. I know there's been, I'm not sure, has there been discussion on changing the from every Monday? Because then that's going to change certain sections of this document.
Well, there has been a discussion to go back to every other Monday, starting next month.
Okay.
There has?
So that's where I'm asking. Has there been? Because if so, that section would need to be changed. And Section 8A, of course, work sessions would need to be changed. So that's just for future. I've had a few citizens reach out to me and ask me if we would look at changing from every week to every other again. So if that happens, those sections would need to be modified.
Okay.
Did we talk, I mean, we just did get to the every week. Was there a discussion about every other week? Was there a council discussion?
I was asking, I had citizens reach out and ask me, and
Yeah.
so I don't know okay, I don't know if that's taken place or not.
Okay, because
But I do think that, citizens have said once a week is quite a bit. And I think if we look at the amount of work sessions that we have, some of them are not necessary and can go on the legislative agenda, then we wouldn't need as many work sessions or as long. So
Well,
that's my
we
thought.
we had this big discussion to go every week because it accommodates the employees of the city in regards to overtime and comp time. And it also, I think, basically, the mayor's office, the administration brought this up and was stressed about it. Well, stressed the point, not they were stressed
Well,
about it.
but the part of that is we work sessioned everything.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Please finish.
Thank you. We had just done that and had, we have not even implemented that yet, really. We have not even had every other week yet. We haven't even fully implemented that, and then here we are changing it again so quickly. And I do think, I recall when we were discussing the every week, that if there was a very light work session, we could either do a special work session at the end of a legislative session, or we could cancel that Monday. What I thought you guys had recommended at some point, that we didn't have to necessarily do every work session if it came down to something very light or something that we may not even have anything for a work session. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't know if there was anyone had a discussion about going back to every other week.
I know when there are times where we do have very light work sessions, but like during budget session, we have a lot of things on the agendas for work sessions as well. So I don't know.
I think you've got to be consistent. You can't just say to the public, oh, by the way, we only have 2 items, we're not having a work
Right.
session. I think possibly if this can be consolidated, instead of having 2 or 3 pages for
yeah.
each, for the work and legislative, if there's some way, and I don't have that answer, if there's some way to consolidate the agenda so there isn't as much brought forward, what do the executive, how do you both feel about this? Every week or every other, because initially it was because of dragging it on.
Yeah, I think the topic came up because of the length of the meetings, and we're staying sometimes till 9 o'clock and keeping our employees here.
Right.
Right.
If the meetings are not going that long, then I think we would be in favor of every other meeting, because then you're not meeting every Monday.
Right.
But it's definitely a good thing to look into. I know there was some other, possibilities of what that looks like between consolidating things, consent agenda items. Some things could go directly towards a legislative session and don't have to have work session, to Councilman Holland's point. If it's something that we know we have consensus over, grant funding and community funding and donations and those kinds of things, I would like to see those go straight to legislative,
yes.
which
Yeah.
then
Makes sense. It doesn't.
would lessen the meetings and
Yes, it would.
Well, with your experience, what you bring to this, would you be amenable to looking at the agendas and suggesting how we can condense? I like every other week, but that's just me. Sorry. It gives you a chance to kind of get your ducks in a row and do anything you have to do. But with your expertise in dealing with agendas in previous positions, would you be willing to make recommendations on how we could condense this and possibly put it every other week, and then it doesn't tie up your side as well as department heads and that type of thing as well?
Absolutely.
Melissa's already said how we can do it. I mean, we have stuff on here that's really unnecessary. We shouldn't even have it on the agenda,
Yes.
period.
Yes,
Right.
like grant, like, you
Yeah.
know, grant donations,
Grants, yeah.
surplus vehicles. There are so many things that we have a work session, public doesn't give comment because they're probably like, why is this on the work session? Like, they're gonna take
And we're
this.
receiving.
I think once you look at this and we start
Yeah.
limiting the amount of things that we
Yes.
actually work session, you'll find that our meetings will just fly by and every 2 weeks will be necessary. But it'll be actual business that we need to handle
you're saying
and not just saying the same things over again.
And it would also help department heads because, they have credibility. That's why they have their jobs.
Right, absolutely.
And
they know what
therefore-
they're
Some of the
doing.
stuff could go,
They can make the decisions.
Yes.
it could go firsthand. If they're department heads, there's, things could be done first.
Right. And they're held up for so long because
outta
they
here.
wait for us to work session them, and then they wait for this, and they're like, it's $1,000 grant. I mean,
Yeah.
we're wasting
Yeah,
time,
time,
and I
yeah.
think we need to be more efficient and productive.
We see them here, we know they're here, we know, okay, just like Nick had 3, Sandy had 3, no, Nick had 4, you had 3. Let them go first, let them get it out of
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Let them go.
Yes. So I think just by looking at the agendas and changing that with Nick's help and the mayors and everyone, then if we consolidate those, then I don't think every other week will be an issue. It's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you.
Agree, wholeheartedly.
So could I make sure I understand my marching orders? I know that we are striking and replacing the language in 12I. Was there consensus to eliminate the last sentence on, 7D? Each council member shall be allotted a maximum of 4 minutes to make his or her comments?
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay. And then was there agreement and consensus with respect to the agenda 5C regarding, as the mayor put it, the council president not exercising his or her discretion arbitrarily and capriciously to not allow something on the agenda? Okay. And then, is there already consensus, provided the changes are made to the agenda, that we're going to restructure these rules to specify that the meetings are every other Monday? Or is that still further discussion on that?
Further discussion.
I think.
Okay.
we need to
Yeah, I would
see
Further
how-
pause on
discussion.
that.
I think seeing how much it impacts the paring down of what we're putting on work sessions.
Right.
How much that impacts the length of meetings, or how much is in the work sessions. I think that's gonna.
Do we want to?
Before we decide on anything with that.
Do we want
Yeah.
to go ahead and amend the rules on these points we just discussed, or do we
Yes.
want to, okay,
Yes.
Go ahead and get that done.
okay.
And then also clarify what Melissa's going to send to you regarding.
Yes, and I'll
Yeah,
email you with the language.
Yeah. Okay.
Madam President, over here.
Oh,
She doesn't have glasses
You would just
on.
interrupt.
She doesn't have glasses. She can't hear you.
it has the part to play in it.
On behalf of the clerk's office, I just want to highly recommend that you get the decision together thoughtfully on the meeting schedule. Just speaking from my end and Hannah's end,
That's what I was
there is a lot of things that change when a schedule changes, and I am totally fine doing it. But doing it so frequently,
I was going to say, can we do it?
It's a
and
lot of
just
work.
leave it?
Yes.
So let's, if
So
the
make sure
decision is
you-
every other, let's do it and keep it that way. Let's not change it
Please.
in 3 months and 6 months. Let's stick with
at
something.
least until the next election.
Yes, please. So whatever our decision is, hopefully by the next meeting, maybe.
Yeah.
We can talk about it and we can make that decision, Julie.
Yes, sir.
And there's the budget schedule too to consider.
That's, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Council President, your last one is code of conduct is the last thing on here. I have a slight issue with something that has occurred in the past couple of weeks. Our clerk sends us an email, and we have council members that share it to Facebook. I personally do not feel that any email that comes from our clerk, our department head, our mayor, should be shared to Facebook with her name at the bottom and her email. It's your personal Facebook, it's your city council Facebook. Personally, I don't care, but code of conduct to me, you don't do that. If our clerk is sending us, she's our employee, and she's sending us an email, whether it's controversial or not, I would never send it to Facebook with what she posted and say, people talk about this and this is what's going on. So that's one of my main issues right now, is the fact of the sharing our work emails on Facebook. I think Facebook's gotten a little bit out of control. It's definitely, for what we want to say, it's our Facebook, but when it represents the city and says city council, that's different. And especially when it was for a topic that was taken off with a consensus, and then that comment was made to get other people to come and make comments about it. So my issue is, Council President, is any emails that we receive from our staff, our city, our mayor, we have no business at all posting it to Facebook.
And I agree 100% with that.
It just is not a good look for
No,
us.
it's not.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's all public record. If putting what you're referring to is when I posted an email, I'm assuming, about the town hall, I was getting questions about it, and I figured if we posted that to Facebook, people would understand that it had been canceled.
Maybe just
You
a
could have put
summary.
that in your own
Yes.
words. It didn't have to be the exact email that was sent to you or to Angela. It could have been just like, the town hall's been canceled at this time, and I'll give you further information. But when you put the whole email on there with your city clerk's name on it,
That's a problem.
that's a problem.
Okay, I apologize if it's a problem, but I did not think that was a problem, because number one, all of the information that was there was public information. It wasn't meant to send people to harass Julie. It wasn't posted to get people to come out for any reason. It was just posted to inform people that was out.
Well,
That
so,
was it.
but
It was just the way the image was cropped.
So I'm gonna put it this way: if it was me, I would have said, "Okay, town hall has been canceled. If anybody has any questions, please reach out to council." I mean, you literally took a city email from Julie and just put it on Facebook. I'm sorry, I have a I would never do it. And it's your Facebook. You're grown. We're all grown.
We're all grown,
right? We
yes,
all make our own decisions. However, we're putting things out there from our own city employee, Julie English, city clerk, based on an email that the council president sent. I think we just need to be mindful. This world is so quick to throw everything on social media. They get mad and something gets ranted and something. People are looking at that. And so you're elected, you represent the citizens of this city. And I think that and I'm going to call it, take it for what it is, to me it's nonsense. Because all you had to do was make a post, the town hall has been canceled, Julie's name didn't have to be involved in it, the email shouldn't have been sent. To me, it's not something I would have done. And the only reason I said something is I just don't think it's a good look for us.
Well, duly noted.
I think we need to be very mindful.
Very professional.
Duly noted.
So
I think that, it is public information. Anybody could have, requested that. I mean, it's not, we're public servants, and I think everybody's mindful that everything we email and everything that we talk about in our, city communications is available to the public.
But if they wanted it, they
Well,
could have asked for it through public information. But they didn't ask for it like that. Like I said, all you had to do was say, the town husband council, and we'll get back with you with further
feel like-
information.
I do feel like this is being really blown out of proportion, or we're spending some time on something that wasn't, I mean, to be honest, that post didn't get hardly any traction. I could probably pull up the metrics on it.
didn't.
What I'm
It
what I'm
didn't, but
saying
it
is
doesn't
it's like-
matter.
It didn't, but here's my thing too, and I went to another city and don't have it written, but council members shall not publicly post or distribute email communications related to city business unless such records have been formally cleared through appropriate public information procedures and reviewed for required redactions. You just sent an email. It hadn't been through the Public Information Act. Had it gone through that process, certain things would have been redacted. So again, I'm going to go back to, I do not feel that any email, whether it be the chief, whether it be the mayor or Julie, that we should just share it. Maybe just a summary of, hey, it's canceled, reach out to,
Well,
would be more effective, is my opinion.
I have a question in regards to emails.
I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Or accounts. So maybe this is a question for you, Ms. Boucher. So I've been getting these strange all-city member Instagram accounts.
To your email. Me too.
I am getting them.
Me too.
We're all getting them.
Yeah, I don't.
What it is.
So how do I put in a public information to get the information behind this email? How do we explore where this is coming from and what's being posted on it?
Are you asking? I guess
Yeah,
I
'cause
could
I
go
don't-
through
what's the
that as
process?
a request under the MPIA and see, nobody knows?
Nobody
The
kno-
genesis?
It goes to my spam. It's there like every day.
I think it means that somebody has created an Instagram account with that email.
And it's the all city
It's
council.
the all city council.
Is the issue that,
What's being posted on it? What
do we know of
information?
anything?
I don't know.
I haven't read what's being,
I just delete
I
it.
don't, that's what I do,
I just delete
it.
because I know it's not the
spam.
city.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
but it's annoying because it's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Angela
it's-
said.
I just know it's not the city.
Somebody
Instagram.
Well, it's
using
daily,
that
but
email as
also-
an account.
Right,
for
and I want to
Facebook
see what it
problem.
is. Yeah, I want to see what's being said with it.
I don't want to see.
They're using that email for a Facebook Meta account, is what it is.
so would you like me to
Or the
work
hack your
with
account.
IT to determine?
Yeah, that would be,
Yeah, you
that
can.
would be, yeah.
You can,
we-
yeah.
we do
It would be
that?
nice to do
Because-
that, but I mean, I don't open them, because I know.
Yeah, and I think other than that, I mean, we're all adults. We all, once we've revised the rules of order and, we allow the citizens, and I just, think, again, just be mindful of what we say and post and think good to go.
All
So
right.
you're not asking to amend the code of conduct? This was just, okay.
My only issue is the email. I don't know how council feels. I did go to another municipality, and they have that strictly written into their code of conduct about sharing the emails out. It's just it's a thing to me. I wouldn't do it. I guess I look at things more so I wouldn't do. I don't feel that our email should be shared, but again, it's up to the council.
I think that is, to me, even though you may say it's public, in a way, it's confidential.
Right, it hasn't been through the Public Information Act process.
It's confidential. Now, if
You know-
like I said, if you want to go on Facebook or wherever you go and say if they're requesting, they want to know how much or whatever, it's just easy to use your own words,
Yeah.
use your own verbiage.
And just
You
say,
know,
and just, you could even say, reach out to the other council members.
Yeah.
I don't mind answering why I said what I said. Never have a problem with that. So I do feel that something should be added in there about emails, but again, it's up to the group.
Is that more of a code of conduct thing, though?
Yes.
Or is that a social media
No, that-
policy?
I looked at the social media policy, it's hard because it's more of, it's an elected, but I just think maybe it's just to be mindful and I mean, you can't tell people what to do, but please don't do it. I mean,
Well, it might,
you know, it's,
because Melissa requested these at our last meeting, requested to have this put on there, out of respect for Melissa being a new set of eyes on these, that we angst over it, and I was new, and the three of you were seasoned. With new set of eyes, if you feel strongly about it, I'm not opposed to you putting it in there. If, you've done the research.
I just know
It's
there are
up to
other
you.
municipalities that have it because they run into the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, they get an email from an employee they don't like and they throw it on Facebook. Let's
I'm not
let's
opposed
leave
to it
Facebook
either.
out of our city business for that purpose.
So,
just a little blurb, Ashley, about email.
Is that the only change to the code of conduct? Because honestly, I don't know when that was last looked at, the code of
Forever
conduct.
ago.
It's
Forever ago.
probably a
Yes.
very long time ago,
Yeah,
10
it's-
years plus.
It says
Looked at it before.
2007.
Didn't we went
looked at
over it.
We've looked at it
2007.
before.
Yeah, we have.
No, I think it was last amended in 2007.
7.
That's what it says.
Yes.
2007.
we did look at it.
We did look at it, I know,
Yeah.
but I don't think.
But
we
there's
didn't
been
do
no
anything.
changes,
ever
correct?
made any-
We didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And most of the things still apply. Don't use it for personal advantage, make your decisions based on facts. I mean, most of it, it's an old document. Not quite sure the purpose of it at this point when we have the rules, but I would say, because it should be things we do.
Overlapping.
Do you know what I mean?
It's overlapping.
It's an overlap.
Yeah, it's
agree with- I
overlapping
agree
with
with-
the rules of order.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
Because
agree with the mayor.
It's code of conduct, things we should be doing.
Okay, well,
So maybe would it?
Are you trying to maybe try to incorporate it into one document?
I think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we
It
could
should
do a,
be-
This is
in the
outdated.
section of the rules, we can do a conduct of
Yeah.
council
Yes,
members and put that in
then
there.
the email, and I don't mind emailing you that as well,
Okay.
either, Ashley.
okay.
And thank you very much for
Thank you.
entertaining.
Okay, it is now time for public comments. Agenda items only on the work session, 3 minutes. We will now hear from the public, and on the agenda items, you will have 3 minutes. If you wish to comment, please come to the podium, state your name, and if you're a city resident.
Joe Stefano, Salisbury resident. Couple of comments regarding the appointment process. If you're going to appoint someone, it's going to be wind up being for less than a year. Mayor breaking a tie is a simple solution. Why complicate it? Other municipalities do it. Why reinvent the wheel? Rules of order, code of conduct. My comment on the code of conduct is there've been a few incidents in the past couple of years where I think arguably could have been classified as a violation of the code of conduct. But there's no penalty. There's no corrective. I mean, even Congress, you have to really be bad in Congress to get it, but they have a censure process. So I think there needs to be some kind of teeth in that code of conduct, or however you're going to do it, to dissuade someone from stepping over the line.
It is a penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Mike Peronsky, city resident. Real quick, I just emailed the council, the mayor, city clerk, just an example of how Baltimore City uses GIS to do things like provide an interactive map for capital improvement projects, which we just talked about tonight. We're making significant investments in our city. We should take every opportunity to show people how that investment will impact their life. And I just wanted to bring up, when we're talking about vacancies, we're talking about council vacancies, but we haven't introduced into this discussion a mayoral vacancy. Not too long ago, we had a mayor, we had an acting mayor, we had a second acting mayor, technically, or an appointed mayor. We haven't talked about how we characterize the vacancy. For example, if you're out for extended leave due to a health issue, at what point do you reach the cliff where you say, okay, you're going to be out for 6 months, we're going to keep you in place, or you're going to be out maybe 4 months, or is it a year, or how do we make that decision? I know that would be a point where maybe HR can assist. But in terms of selecting a person, if we're going to pick a person that's going to serve for more than a year or just under a year, we're not really interviewing them for a job. If you look at the Charter, Section 6, or Chapter 6, Section 12 of the Charter refers to vacancies, and it uses the term elect. It doesn't use the term hire. So I think there's a really important distinction there, because you're electing someone, you're not hiring someone. So in a lot of ways, you guys are hiring department heads, and there is a process outlined in the charter for you guys to terminate a department head. I'm not sure that there is a process. I haven't looked extensively, but I don't know if 4 members of the council decide they want to get rid of another member of the council, they can't just have a vote and kick them off the council. So I think there's an important distinction there to make when we talk about interviewing a candidate versus electing a candidate. And I think that really does impact how you view the closed session, because the Open Meetings Act doesn't compel this council to elect a candidate and make that decision in closed session. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. And code of conduct, I view that as part of, that's how you behave outside of this room, and maybe a little bit how you behave towards each other, how you behave towards citizens, how you carry yourself, whereas rules of order is how you conduct this meeting. So if a material change in your employment or in maybe your status as a resident, or maybe you pick up a felony outside of this room, that could impact your service to the city, and that how we disclose that, and then what happens after that, who knows? So thank you.
Thank you.
Stefan Feliciano, city resident. I've been here in Salisbury since 2007, but I've been coming to this room, to this space, since probably 2020. And one of the things that I miss the most, is decorum. Decorum. There's no law about decorum. It's a framework. And respect. I miss that. So I would suggest, when you have these discussions in these spaces about rules of conduct, code of conduct, talk about decorum, and show us, the public, what that looks like. What decorum looks like in these rooms. Because that's what they want to see. Respect. I remember that we don't attack people. We attack ideas. We debate the ideas, not the person, the idea. Let's go back to that and be a little bit more kind to each other. Love each other. There's so much other stuff going on in this world.
Any other public comments? Okay, administration comments?
Yeah, I have a couple. First of all, just wanted to shout out our snow removal crews. The last couple snowstorms have been crazy, and they've done a really good job of getting those emergency routes cleared, let alone the rest of the streets in the city. So, thank you. I know it's a lot of hard work, late nights for them to do that, so thank you very much for that. The zoo is still closed. There was quite significant damage over there, trees down, that kind of thing. They are reopening, or planning on reopening, on Wednesday. Third Friday, we'll be back here before we know it, with the first one on April 17th. We are celebrating Salisbury University's centennial anniversary, so that's kind of a big one to start off with. So please put that on your calendar and come out. And Hops on the River, April 25th. The tickets just became available for that, so it's another cool event coming up downtown. And then the other thing I want to say is thank you, Sandy and her crew, for we're doing a lot of hard work right now going through the budget. We've met with every department, so thank you to the departments as well. I know it takes a lot of work to go through, and we've had a lot of meetings, and we'll continue those meetings and look forward to meeting with council on that as well.
Yeah, you took a couple of my items there. That's okay then. They all got thanked, which is good. Particularly field ops for the snow this weekend. That was rough. One of the things I take away, Nancy came up earlier. I hope she'd stayed, but that project down in the park is a very important project. But more than that, it's a very big project. It's one that's been on the books for 10 years. It never gotten done, and we announced that project in mid-December, and ultimately didn't start construction, I think, till late December. And I live right across the street from where a lot of this is going on, so I see it every day. That said, it was probably the worst time of the year to do it. You got the snow, the ice, the rain, the water, so it really messed up a lot of that, which they're gonna require the contractor to repair. But in all fairness, we could have done a better job of executing the project. One of the things that Michael just brought up was possibility of doing a series of signs announcing the project, have a QR code which kind of can pull up. That's a great idea. That's a see something, say something idea. And I've made a couple notes and sent him an email on that front. Because we've got a number of these coming up. We got Waterside coming up. We got possibly the community center coming up. We got the 110 church, which is going to be our new IT room and neighborhood services building. So we can put signs up at each one of those locations. I think it is an opportunity for us to celebrate positive things that are going on with a sign and kind of give people a sense with the QR code and throw a few promos for the city out there. So at the same time, so it's a good idea. Not everybody's interested, but there are a good percentage of people that hopefully are. So it's a good suggestion. So thank you, Michael.
Council comments, Angela, Councilwoman Blake.
None. Good evening.
I have, these are, a lot of people have gone, but we still need volunteers for the Mission of Mercy that is taking place the 27th and 28th. Dental, if you need dental work, fillings, cleanings, and extractions. Nothing major in terms of the costly events, but it's always nice to have that done for free. But we need a lot of volunteers. So please take a card and share the cards. Julie was nice enough to place them over there for me, so please do that. Feel free to try to donate if you feel like it towards the Humane Society. They had their gala a week ago, and to raise money for their new building, which they are in dire need of. So if you'd like to support that, that would be awesome. I'd like to thank one of my constituents who's sitting over there with the green shirt, because my car was dug out, before the snow stopped falling. So, thank you, Joe. Also, another thank you to the administrative branch, because I was thrilled to participate. They meet twice a month with the president and the vice president of the city council, and I left feeling very, as you would say, Stefan, there was a communication, there was a nice warm fuzzy feeling of sharing, and that collaboration between both branches. So thank you for that. And if you next year, if you want to see what our next generation is capable of, rock and roll revival at Bennett High School. So, thank you.
Michelle?
So I just want to talk a little bit about an event that happened this past weekend. It was a Save Our Services rally. For those who don't know, the DDA, or the Developmental Disabilities Administration, is about to lose in the state budget about $150 million, which includes matching funds for that. So it would actually work out to be about $300 million. And this is the agency that we go through for our son, who helps fund things like environmental modifications for disabled folks. It also, particularly developmentally disabled, it also supports the actual supports in their home or in traditional care facilities. But in particular, the self-directed families, those who are like us, where the individual gets cared in their home, are particularly taking a hard hit. And this weekend, there was a rally. I'm sure some of you guys saw it on the news. I think it was on WMDT and WBOC. There was a rally this weekend in which about 150 or so folks showed up and got to speak to their legislators. And I just want to give. I said this at the rally, and I want to say it here. Our legislators for the Eastern Shore have been phenomenal at making sure that they are speaking up for this community. That said, only 2 of them sit on committees that have anything remotely to do to this before the budget goes to a full vote. So there are specific committees, and if you know Dom Sessa, she goes by Girl in the Pink Wheelchair on social media. She has put together a fantastic primer for folks on what exactly the issues are, and exactly what we can do about them, who to contact, who to speak to. So I would strongly urge you go look her up on Facebook or Instagram or any of those platforms to try and get this information. I have shared it to my own social media, so I hope folks take a look at it and make sure that they're engaging on this, because this is so important. We have so many families down here that are going to be impacted by this and by these cuts. And it was very good to see. I saw a lot of familiar faces out there on Sunday. So I think that this is something that's going to be continuing to be a problem. But we fought it back last year, and it was $500 million at that point. So I think we can beat it again. So thank you.
What's the name again, Michelle?
Girl in the Pink Wheelchair, or Dom Sessa.
How much money did you say?
It'll be a total of $300 million, $150 million from the state budget, and then we'll lose a matching federal funds of $150 million there too. It's actually a little bit more than that, but
Why would they target that?
Good grief, yeah.
Because they are concerned about spending, and it's kind of complicated. I can go into it more detail offline, but
It's a little late to wait be worrying about that.
yeah, it is, there's a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of miscalculations out there, I think, that there are some not accurate numbers being tabulated. And I think that's what's resulting in these cuts being put forward by the DDA.
Sure. So just want everyone to know, I attended the Truth Committee on February 18th. At that meeting, the Truth Committee has decided that we're going to go back into the community and start having community meetings. So our first community, out in the community meeting for the Truth Committee will be March 18th at 6:30 p.m. at the Truett Community Center. And we do invite everyone to come, ask questions, get engaged. We would love to see you all there. We're looking at about 90 minutes, but we would love everyone to attend and ask any questions, and please come. The second thing I want to say is on March 5th, I will be attending the Junior Achievement. ACE Mentoring has done a final presentation, and it's actually work on an unhoused shelter project. And so I will be attending that at Junior Achievement on March 5th, and I am truly looking forward to it.
Okay, Mike Poromsky and Miss Nancy Rosen gave a grand report of the park. So I don't have to reiterate that. I was there at the meeting, and a lot of what Miss Nancy Rosen showed us, it was really not a good look for the city park. So, I'm hoping and praying. I think that you all said that there will be that liability would go on the contractor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of damage to trees and
Yes,
things, but
yes, yeah.
and they got to replace the ramp.
Yes.
But that was going to happen anyway, you know.
Okay. Now, I have something to say that I wanted to say in February, but I didn't get an opportunity to say it because of the weather.
Bless you.
Bless you. During the first week of Black History Month, a video surfaced that depicted our former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes, which was unacceptable and very much disgusting. Trump's refusal to apologize for his racially demeaning video is very much detrimental to our society, and especially to those of color and the entire United States of America. It was very distasteful and comes from a person who is leading our country with no heart for man, regardless race, color, or creed. It is a disgrace to our country. It's a disgrace. Then I also want to do one on Reverend Jesse Jackson, who just passed. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who was an American civil rights activist, along with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, also a civil rights activist and an activist for the LGBTQ community, politician and ordained pastor, Baptist pastor. His activism began in 1960, and he founded the organization that later became Rainbow Push Coalition. In 1984, launched a presidential campaign, which he did not win. He was born October the 8th, 1941, as Jesse Lewis Byrne. Passed away February the 17th, 2026, as the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson. Now, how he got that last name, his mother married a Jackson, and his stepfather adopted him. So he inherited that name of Jackson, which became his last name. And I also want to say some things, Black history, it means a lot to me. But history itself, because Black history is just not Black history, it's history in this United States of America. So, I don't ever want to get that confused with anything. History is history. I don't care whether it's black, white, green, or gold, it's history. The National Vietnam Veterans Day is March the 29th. It will be held at the Delmar VFW, and it's on a Sunday, but it's from 3 to 6. There will be a meal there for you to eat. We have raffles, so if you come, there's a $10 raffle to win. You can have a choice to win one TV. You may have a chance to win 2 TVs. I don't know, but the raffle tickets are $10. Our guest speaker is Brian Langford, a U.S. Marine, and he's a former or past commander for the state of Maryland. And if you want to come. It's a nice program. Our mayor will be there, and I have some other people that are going to come. So just come and see what goes on and hear the stories of the Vietnam veterans. They're very interested, very sad, and the way they were treated was not good. So just come out and enjoy yourself, because it is a fun and a joyful event as well. Thank you. Oh, and I do want to say this. I did say it about the chief of police, and the mayor. And the mayor, I don't know if I said it last meeting or not, but I don't want to not do it. They went over to the lodges. And we have a lot of the seniors, it's a senior citizens development. And I got a call, we need help. I got on the phone, called the mayor. The mayor called Chief Frampton and Chief Monshine. Now, as many of those people, they had no lights, no way of feeding themselves, no heat, and they were there for like 2 days, 2 to 3 days. They were in that building. But our honorable public servants saved them, because they had some very sick people in there, very sick, and they were some of them were non-ambulatory, which means they can't walk. So, some of them couldn't even get out of their apartments because there was no way for them to get out of the apartment, and the elevator was shut down. So I'm looking for a way, and the chief told me that it would probably be hard, but I'm looking for a way to change that, where if people are handicapped or disabled and they're living on the second and third floor, we have to find some kind of resources to get them out of those buildings in case of fire or in case of emergency, just like happened the other day. So I'm going to work diligently trying to do that, and I know it comes up to federal or state, but it doesn't matter. It needs to be done because people's lives are on the line. So this is the end of our meeting.
Madam President,
Huh?
you gonna share whose birthday's coming up?
Mine.
She wasn't gonna say that
Look,
unless I said it.
51?
It's my birthday. 51. I wish. 50, yeah, I'll see 51 in another life, believe me. But yes, I am starting to celebrate my my birthday. And the funny thing is, y'all gonna laugh at me for this one. I said I'm gonna start early, and I drank me 2 glasses of nice little wine.
Uh-oh, here we go.
sangria.
You know what?
Look, I found myself on the sofa, knocked out.
What time is it right there?
It is now. Our meeting is adjourned.
All right.
And it is now, wait a minute, I'm trying to get my phone up. 9 o'clock.